Hey everyone! This is episode 114 of Nerds with Mics. I'm Emily.
I'm Travis.
And I'm Justin.
And today we're going to talk about some Tribes of Midgard. Just came out last Sunday. New PS5 beta, and what are our games of the year picks so far. But first, what have you guys been up to?
Who are we starting with?
Justin,
me?
what about you?
Whoever.
All right. I have been up to... I watched some Ted Lasso, the newest episode. Started watching another show on Netflix called... I think it's called I Think You Should Leave. It's the Tim Robinson sketch comedy show that is absolutely hysterical. If I got the name wrong, I'm sorry. It's not like Tim Robinson watches this show, so no harm, no foul. Been playing some Final Fantasy 14. I did stop playing the New World Beta because I don't want to do it again because I'm probably going to pick it up at the end of the month, which Emily told me before the show it comes out on the very last day of August. I thought it was like mid-August, so I'm a little disappointed. But yeah, I've just been playing some Final Fantasy 14, and I feel like there's something else I played but I forgot, but not important. What about you, Travis?
So I have actually been up to quite a bit. Still watching The Flash. That hasn't changed. Caught up on Ted Lasso, which we'll talk about. And then I actually traveled to Knoxville to work for the weekend. And after that, I decided to take a road trip afterwards. So I'm currently in an Airbnb in Asheville, North Carolina. After Asheville, I'll be heading to Charleston, South Carolina. After that, I'll be heading to Savannah, Georgia. And then after that, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to end up. May go through Nashville. Don't really know yet, but just taking some time off.
Have you been to Charleston before?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I'm going down to see one of my friends that lives there. We're going to go. Her and I are going to go on a ghost tour, and I'm kind of excited about that. So
cool.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. They have ones where they take you either through houses, through graveyards, through dungeons, like all sorts of crazy stuff. So I'm excited about that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I feel like it's going to be some Resident Evil stuff. I'm kind of scared. But anyways, other than that, I think that's pretty much... I started a class last week, so that's been consuming a lot of my time. However, I turned in my first assignment, and I got a 9 out of 10, so I'm pretty excited about that. So
Good job. Congratulations.
yeah. So what about you? Emily?
Well, Tribes of Midgard came out on Tuesday, and I actually cosplayed. I have a friend that I stream with a lot in Borderlands. His name's Vanderforge. I've probably talked about him a few times. He's known as the Hype Viking on Twitch, and he was like, "I'm gonna do some Viking makeup tonight." He's like, He's like, "You should too." And I was like, "I'm not good at that kind of stuff." And he goes, "No, he's just throw some black makeup on, you'll be fine." So I spent like 2 hours doing like Viking cosplay black makeup, and I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I did a pretty bang up job on that, and I played Tribes of Midgard for 15 straight hours. There you go.
Yeah. I have a picture of it there.
So it was super fun. I don't like makeup. I don't do a lot of makeup, but that was super fun to do. Just playing the game was I had a blast. I played with like anywhere between 5 to 8 people the whole time. It's definitely one of those games that you want to play with people, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, Tribes of Midgard. Been watching, of course, Ted Lasso as well. Actually, just watched that just a little bit ago. The new episode of that, and Borderlands. So I just been going back and forth between Tribes of Midgard and Borderlands. So been super fun. It came out great. Oh, thank you, Stick Inside.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Nice.
All right. So first up on the notes we have Tribes of Midgard. Do you want to jump into it?
Yeah, sure. So, like I was saying, I put 15 hours into my first stream of it, and it felt like I had been playing for 7. It really half that time it didn't feel like I was playing for 15 hours. Like, it was ridiculous. And the next day I played for another 12 hours and streamed for another 12 hours of it. And
consecutively?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
I think I started on that Tuesday. I was going to start earlier in the day, but I wanted to wait for Vander because I wanted to play with people. I think it went live around 4 or 5 p.m. and then we went all through the night, and I think I got done at like I was like 8 or something, like 8 a.m. And it was so much fun. I had a blast playing it. My community had a blast watching it. And it's a new game, so like everybody always wants to like learn the ins and outs of it and everything. And I was still learning the ins and outs of it. And the second stream was a little bit better because I knew a little bit more of what I was doing and how things worked and everything. It was one of the, and I played a lot of solo that stream, and I can recommend that if you pick up this game, if you can play with people first and then go in at it solo if you want to do some solo, because it is one of those games that it's a lot to take in and it's a lot to do when you're first learning how things work and how you should upgrade your NPCs, because the village it's a village, and you have a blacksmith, you have a tinker, you have a trapper, you have an armor person, and you have to upgrade each individual NPCs to be able to create better and better things. So you learning how to do that and do it solo was really hard. So I highly recommend doing group play first, at least between 3 to 6 people first, and then jump in and do more of a solo. But I think it's fantastic. It is a roguelike in a sense of if your tree dies, then your world ends and you have to start all over. And there's challenges. That's what's really cool about it too, is you have things that you can accomplish in the game. It's not just hey, your tree dies and then you just start all over again. Every single time that you die, you've learned something about the game and how to progress even further later on down, after, you go and die, you are going to pick it back up and you're like, okay, well, I did this last time and I died. So I, better go off and go this route or go this route. And it's procedurally generated too, so it's gonna be different every single time. But do you guys have any questions about it or anything that you can think of?
So at $20, I have a feeling it's a solid recommendation, right? Did you bump up to the $30 edition?
Deluxe edition, yeah, because you look at it as, it gives you cosmetics and it gives you the pets that follow you around. And I thought, $10 more to support a developer, a publisher I love, first of all, and to possibly help this developer going further. And if it ended up sucking, I was like, I was out $10 more. But I did end up going with the $30 edition, and I do not regret it. Okay. I think it was a great investment. I mean, like I said, I've put close to 30 hours into it in just the two streams that I did. And I will be putting a ton more playtime into it as well. So 100% recommend.
Is there anything that you were surprised by or didn't expect, in the game, either good or bad?
So I felt really bad the after my first stream, because I then after that realized how the communal chest works in it. So there's a communal chest. So if you're playing with other people, with co-op people, you actually can throw all of your stuff into this communal chest.
Oh no.
And how it works is so Travis, say you threw your 5 pelts or leather into the communal chest, right? And I also have 5 pelts on me. You can't see the pelts that I have, but since you threw your 5 pelts in the communal chest, I now show in my inventory that I have 10.
Oh.
And I didn't understand that that's how it worked. And so I was thinking that I just had 10 pelts, and I was like, I can make this thing. And I was just making.
Oh no.
Yeah, I felt so bad.
You're robbing your people.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people didn't realize that that's how it worked too. And I think it's a learning curve and it's a learning experience. But after that, I was educating everybody on it. I was like, listen, this is how this works, just so you know. So that was a little surprising, but I grew to like that, because then if you say, hey, I need 2 pelts, you can be like, Travis, you can be like, I've got 2 pelts, go throw them in the communal chest, and then I can just go straight to the armor and craft my stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But there were, obviously it's a new game, there is going to be bugs. I spent a long time unlocking the seer class, which is probably one of the most overpowered classes in the game because she is not susceptible to any of the environmental. So like no heat, no cold, like she can survive it all. And that's kind of key to have one of those characters so that they can go out and get things in those cold areas and in the hot areas. And I worked like so long to get those because you have to Bifrost out after killing a Jotun 10 times. And it glitched on me. Yeah, it's called a Jotun. It's J-O or J-U-T-O-O or T-O-N-N, I think, but it's pronounced Jotun. It's just giant. It's just one of the giants.
Yeah.
But it ended up glitching out on me, and right now they're not aware of any fix for it. And so I worked so hard to sit there and try to unlock this class that's like super powerful, and I need to be able to unlock another class, and it's glitched out, so I can't unlock it at the moment. So I'm gonna so fingers crossed that they put out a patch like the very next day, so which is nice. And it means that they're working hard and that they're actually listening to the community and what's going on and the things that are going wrong with the game they're fixing. So that's great.
So one thing I was trying to look up, but I can't find it, so you may not know. I know that we talked about the lack of crossplay before. Is that something that they are exploring, enabling crossplay with PS4 and PS5 users with PC users, or is it still going to be separate?
I mean, I know the Gearbox wants to. Gearbox wants to enable crossplay. I mean, they enabled crossplay with Borderlands.
Yeah.
With PC and Xbox. I don't know the deal on why they didn't bring this game out for Xbox. If it was like a deal with PlayStation. But I hope that if Gearbox can come to an agreement with Borderlands and crossplay, that eventually that it will happen, of course, with this game as well, because I think it'll just bring more people to those two games player bases.
Yeah,
I mean, and you're gonna have more people that will buy the game for console and buy PlayStation Plus and buy, and I think, I don't know why PlayStation thinks that they're not gonna make money off of this by having crossplay. I don't understand it, honestly, because I'm sorry, but I'm not going to buy a PlayStation 5 just to play with PlayStation 5. Yeah. Like, it's just not going to happen. I have a great PC that outperforms a PS5, so why would I do that? Like, but there's also people that have a PS5 that won't buy the game because they can't play with me because I'm on PC. So they're just losing out on money there, honestly.
Yeah, the group of people I play with are pretty split between PC and PlayStation and even Xbox, which the game, like you said, isn't even available on Xbox. Yeah. So it makes me, like, I know it's only $20, but I'm like, I couldn't play with the people I would want to play with, Yeah.
And your progress doesn't carry over between PC and PS4. Now, if your progress carried over between actual cross plat save, then that would be okay. Then I would buy it on PS4 and then play with PlayStation people there, as long as my save and everything transferred over. But
like, the technology exists. I just don't see why there's any reason why any multiplayer game is being released in 2021 that's not crossplay. I don't understand that at all. But
I said, it's on Sony, because I can guarantee you. Yeah. I can guarantee you that if that game came out for Xbox, PC and Xbox would be playing crossplay right now, but Sony would still be in the dark.
Of course.
So, which somebody said and mentioned on Twitter in one of their posts asking about Xbox availability on Tribes of Midgard, and Tribes of Midgard said it's not a no, but it's like, could be later down the road opened up to that. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, I look forward to playing it. I definitely plan on picking it up, but I just knew that I had vacation and stuff coming up, and I wasn't going to be able to play with class and stuff, so I'm probably going to try to get it next week sometime.
Definitely. So, I've already spent like $5 on the coins, because it has like a shop that you can actually like buy coins. And the thing is you don't have to buy coins. You can get the coins via the season pass tier things, and as you're leveling up. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? This game is amazing. I was like, it was cheap. And it's a way to support the devs into continuing to make their game better. And they're giving us free content for the foreseeable future. So, I don't mind spending $5 here and there, or $5 every month for 500 coins to buy something that I like in the store to support the developers. So,
right. Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I look forward to
Yeah.
playing it. So let's talk about. So Emily, you've done quite a bit of catching up since last week. I know that we had spoiled the first episode
It's okay.
of season 2 of Ted Lasso for you, but we'll kind of start with you, and then we'll kind of let you give your impressions of season 1 leading up to season 2, and then we'll all just kind of talk together about season 2 and then also episode 2. But go ahead and tell us what you think so far.
So like the first few episodes, I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'm not a big like soccer or football
Yeah.
fan. I'm like I've never been a sports like watching sports fan, but
Sports ball.
we don't really watch any sports in this show. It's essentially just a a story about Ted going from a what was it wasn't even was it college, was it high school football,
College football.
it
I
was
believe.
college football going
Yeah.
to a premier soccer league, and I'm just kind of like, and Jason just does a
Sudeikis,
fantastic
yeah.
Sudeikis just does a fantastic job at reeling in that like southern drawl like accent compared to all of
Yeah.
these British people that are just like I love the comparison of the two accents in this show, and it makes me just every time he starts talking it just makes me laugh. And just like the little like things that he says, like the comparisons that he says between things, it's so funny, and it just makes you giggle. And then there's just some parts of the show, probably the one thing that almost made me like legit pee my pants in laughter was when they were getting into a fight in the locker room, and Ted Lasso says something about Fight Club, and Beard goes, "No Fight Club," and just screams, "No Fight Club." And it's just like I don't know, like it's just like little things in the first season just made me laugh. Which we're only into two episodes in the second season, but the first episode was amazing in second season. The second episode was pretty good. We got a little bit more of like, not really backstory, but just kind of like catching up to do what everybody's been up to and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but I loved it. It was great.
Well, good. I mean, I definitely know you had your work cut out for you because before when we recorded last week, you had not seen any of it. Now you're all the way
No.
caught up. So
Oh.
good job.
What's his name? Danny
Danny Rojas.
Danny Rojas. Oh my
Yeah.
God! When I first saw Danny Rojas, he was like, "Danny Rojas, football's life." Like
Yeah.
I loved Danny Rojas, and I just every time he was like running out in the field, and I would just like every little thing like that, just like the little stuff, just made me laugh. So
Did you
I
ever
didn't
watch
ex-
Scrubs?
yes, Jesse
Yeah.
loves Scrubs.
I love Scrubs,
my
too.
gosh, he loves Scrubs, and I think like overall I've probably seen every Scrubs episode, but
Mhm.
not in order, because every
Oh.
time like Jesse like he goes back and watches it, he's probably watched Scrubs like 10 times through.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I probably have. I'm close to that number as well. It's one of my favorite comedies. But I mean, Bill Lawrence just knows how to make a good comedy. I mean, even if there's like a little bit of cheese to it,
Yeah.
but there's like a lot of heart. And
So
they
it is
both,
the same person who
Yeah.
did okay, so I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
that's why he likes it so much. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about the show is the fact that you could be laughing one minute and then the next minute you're just kind of on the verge of just tearing up a little bit. You know, it's-
Right? Yes, I wasn't gonna say anything because I've obviously been on for my poison sumac or whatever that I have all over my legs.
Yeah.
I've been on steroids like nonstop
Yeah.
for like almost a month, and so I thought I was just tearing up because
No.
I'm on I'm so emotional right now because of that. But
That-
no, you'd be dying laughing one minute, and then I would be like,
It makes
just
me feel like
crying.
it makes me feel like I'm bipolar. I mean, even like the first episode of season 2, when obviously the beginning part happens, and then he's in the press conference and he's telling this story about how his neighbor had a dog and it bit him, and then he was afraid and he would cry, and then just that whole series of events leading up to what he's saying. It's just like, man, where did this come from? Like,
Exactly. I felt the
yeah.
same way. I was just like, and I watched that episode twice because we restarted it because Jesse was watching it with me, and I legit like I almost cried the second time whenever I watched him talk about that, and I was like, because I have a dog and I love dogs, and it makes me sad when I hear about that.
Justin, throw that comment up there. Yeah, Ted Lasso
Yes.
for president. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need
100%.
more Ted Lasso.
We do.
And
We do.
and Beard can be VP, so that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I love his facial expressions. Like he doesn't even have to say anything. Like Beard does not have to say anything. He can just have his facial expressions and they're perfect. They're great.
Yeah, one of
So.
my favorite moments so far in the season was an actual facial expression. It was when that sports psychologist came in and she says, "Do you think you're a good coach?" And he says, "Stop looking at them. Like, do you think you're a good coach?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "Well, if you think you're a good coach, I'm twice as good at my job." And then Beard's mouth is just like,
He was like it was pretty
that's
good.
all he
Yeah.
needed to say. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, Justin, what do you think about episode 2?
I thought episode 2 was good. I was kind of wondering where they were going with the whole Jamie Tart storyline, especially when
Yeah.
we saw him at the end of the first episode on that reality show. And now we can see he has really fallen from the good graces of soccer
Yeah.
or football, whatever you want to call it. So I was I actually was a little disappointed that Ted let him rejoin the team at the end because,
Well,
He is
do
a-
we know that's what happened?
I mean, it's exactly what it looks like. He comes out
Yeah.
wearing the AFC Richmond gear.
Yeah.
I understand that, but did you not see the smirk of the owner right at the end before the episode cut off? Like everybody seemed confused but her. Did you not really pick up on that?
No, I didn't.
Like, oh, maybe like that she was the one that
Like
invited
she-
him back and nobody else knew about it.
Yeah. I mean,
Ooh.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that Ted's not, because I mean, obviously, like Ted changed his tune when he realized how broken he was. He kind
Mhm.
of said it. He went back on what he had originally thought, but then we didn't really see anything past that. But like, we see her smirk at the very end, and she's the only one that makes any kind of expression, almost as if she like did something kind of sneaky.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I read too much.
Yeah, I
into
thought it was
but
going to
yeah.
be Higgins because there was that whole discussion at the beginning about how he's over football operations and Ted's just the
Yeah.
coach. But Ted was like, just run things by me. But clearly Higgins didn't do that once. Who's to say he's not going to do it again,
Yeah.
whether intentionally
Yeah.
or by accident? But I mean, we know Jamie Tart is a team chemistry killer, but we also know this show has to have a conflict. I'm sure
Yeah.
that will be the conflict this season, part of it. So I don't know. I mean, he's definitely a character that can be redeemed. I mean, he's not just he's a
Yeah.
jerk, but like he's not like an evil human being. He can definitely
I mean, he
have
sent
redemption.
flowers to Kent.
Yeah.
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 So,
I
I mean,
love
like-
Roy Kent in this episode.
Oh yeah, me too. Like when he was on the show.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, that would be me. I would just be like, they would have to apologize for every other word out of my mouth.
Yeah. That
Did,
was
uh,
really good.
Did anybody feel awkward about the scene of his girlfriend in bed with
Yeah.
her phone?
It was
Like
interesting.
that
Pretty funny.
scene happened right after she talked to Jamie, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, she's better than this. She's not doing this." And then you realize that, oh well, she's not cheating on him. But when she had her phone, I was like, "Oh no, it's going to be a picture of Jamie
know.
or something like
That's
that."
what I
But
thought,
no,
too.
it's just Roy crying.
I think the show is
It was
too
pretty
wholesome for them to have because we would if they had her cheat on Roy Kent, the fan base would absolutely turn on Keeley, and she would be villainized at that point. I don't think that they're going to do that. I think pretty much the core group, even Rebecca at this point, is like in good guy territory. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
think it's the kind of show where you're going to have a true villain. I don't think it needs one. I think it just needs conflict. Which one thing
know
I
what?
did want to bring up. I'm sorry, Travis.
No, go
I'm
ahead.
going to lose my thought real quick. Emily had brought up she's not a soccer fan, but if you think about it, this is really just another workplace comedy.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
hardly any actual gameplay. You
Yeah.
see like before the game, you say middle of the game, like in the locker room, and then you see like at the end
Yeah.
of the game.
And when they
And,
do have
yeah.
those game moments, they are good. Like even if you
Mhm.
don't really care about it, I feel like you're sucked into that world and like you do want to see them win. Travis, I'm sorry to cut you off there. I was going to lose that thought. I had it once
No.
before and lost it.
No, you're fine. I'm kind of curious because at the end of the second episode, like, because so far this season, all I've really rooted for, other than Roy, is for Ted and the sports psychologist to kind of get along, and we start to get that towards the end of the episode where she like tells him her favorite book, and and you're like, oh, cool. Like, I thought that conversation was going to go way different, but it actually was like a pretty wholesome moment. But then it makes me wonder, like, now with Jamie coming back, like, is she going to see that as like a poor move and like kind of like it's going to cause a rip between them right when they were kind of starting to get, like along, you know what I mean?
Um,
I still
I
don't
don't
know about
know.
her. I don't know about her. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
I don't really know if
I
that's
kinda,
her job. I don't
yeah,
know if she's there to really evaluate his moves, but rather just to evaluate him as like a human
yeah,
being. So I don't know. That's a
yeah,
good question though.
We'll have to watch more. There needs to be more episodes so we
Yes.
can.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so Justin, do you have some news about PS5 for us?
Yes. So if you're like me, and you may not be, this is a big deal for me. Sony announced the PS5 software beta, which is enabling my most sought after feature, and that is the ability to them enabling that extra hard drive slot in PlayStation 5 consoles. This beta now does enable that. Sony did put out a list of requirements, but they did say they're kind of being really not helpful in this situation. Like
Sony not helpful.
I
What?
know, right? Who would have thought
Yeah.
that? They're basically saying here are the requirements that you need, and yes, this piece of tech is $200 to $400, $500 to get that hard drive, but we're not going to guarantee it's going to work or its performance. So go spend your money, crack open your $500 system, slap that bad boy in there, and hope for the best.
Screw Sony. They
I
can just
know,
no go.
and
That's BS.
I
Get
know.
out of here with that. Oh
And
my
what's going to
god.
happen though is they're eventually going to have. I'm just guessing, but I'm
A
assuming.
class action lawsuit?
No, I'm assuming we'll have a like a optimized for PS5 solid state drives that you'll find in GameStops around the nation at some point. But they're going to have like a 30% markup because it is optimized for Sony PlayStation 5. That's the same.
Proprietary.
Yeah,
That's what it
proprietary.
means.
Which that's how Microsoft is doing theirs, which is they have it's like a little expansion card you slide in the back,
Mhm.
and it's like I said, it's like 220. I mean,
I'm
it's
surprised
pretty
that they went
expensive.
with proprietary though. Usually Microsoft is
Yeah.
very like open source, so you can just use whatever as long as it's and as long as it says it's authorized to work and they'll cover it. But
Yeah.
like that surprises me because usually it's Sony. You remember the Vita with the
Yeah,
proprietary memory cards?
and they're so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
assume that Microsoft will most likely open up the use of external hard drives for Xbox Series X games once the external hard drive speeds catch up to the internal speeds, which I don't know
true.
how
Yeah.
far we are from that. I'm hoping Sony will do the same actually, because that would be nice. But yeah, so that was just one of the many features. That's the one that got most of the headlines. It also enabled 3D audio support for TV speakers. So if you've been using a Sony headset for 3D audio, you can now just use your TV speakers if you're in the beta program. I am not in the beta program, and I'm really in no rush to test this feature. I think I'm definitely happy because any time you crack open your system and install like new hardware in it, like that's you know that can make me anxious. So I'm more than
Yeah.
happy to wait on that. But I don't know, Travis, you're probably not even close to filling up your PS5, are you?
No. Well, no. To be fair, I actually had to delete a few games off to install some new ones. But of
Yeah.
course, one of those was Call of Duty, and it takes up over 200 gigs. So
Yeah.
that
Which
was
is ridiculous.
So I
yeah.
was looking. I have Battlefield. I've been playing Battlefield 5 some, and it's like 110 gigs. And I'm wondering, like, will my PlayStation even hold Battlefield 2042? Because I've been
Yeah.
playing all my PS4 games off of an external hard drive. You can still
Right.
do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if I'm gonna have room for like half of these games coming out between now and the end of the year. I mean, I
Yeah.
assume Far Cry 6 will be big. Battlefield will be big. Um, I don't even know what else is coming, but I mean, they're going to be big games, and I just don't know if I have room.
Yeah.
It's a
Dying
good problem to
Light.
have.
Dying Light too.
Yeah, that'll be a
When's
big
it
one. But
out?
yeah,
I need it.
December
Yeah,
7th.
as you say, it's like late year.
Yeah, December 7th.
If it doesn't get
I'm
pushed
excited
back.
for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. All right. Well, so let's talk about. So we're in just now August, right? So
August 1st.
yeah, August 1st. So we have a little ways to go, but we thought we'd be interested to talk about a potential game of the year candidate with based on what's out right now. Um, Obviously, we know that Horizon Forbidden West has been delayed until 2022.
Yeah.
You know, so that's obviously not going to be a candidate. So let's talk.
It
Ooh.
probably
Yeah.
would have had a good shot at winning it though had it not been delayed.
Insert Coin Tees, I think is I think it was the company. They actually just did a whole line of Horizon Forbidden West clothing.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was on Twitter and I like tweeted it. It was like, I'm in mighty need of these things because they were like pajama pants and like stuff like that of like with the dinosaurs on them.
I thought you were talking like costumes from like the game. I'm like, oh
No,
my
this is
gosh,
like
who's
actual
buying this?
clothing, like actual clothing. And I'm like, I'm in a mighty need for some of these items. And I think I'm pretty sure it was Insert Coin Tees is doing it. So if you need your fill of Horizon Forbidden West before the game comes out, you can buy from them.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's kind of do a roundtable. Justin, we'll start with you. What are some of your predictions or things that you might see?
So based on the games that we've played so far this year, or that have released this year, my personal game of the year picks would be Ratchet and Clank or Hitman 3. But I think you could definitely make the argument for that game. It Takes Two. I almost said It Makes Two. It Takes Two, or even like Monster Hunter Rise are both highly well-regarded games.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I haven't played those. So for me, it would definitely be Ratchet and Clank or Hitman 3. Now, if I'm going to make a guess for the rest of the year, that's tough because I don't know if we have that. I mean, we have like your annual releases. We have some of we don't actually, I guess, have like Assassin's Creed, but we have some games coming out that I think could be in the conversation, but I'm not really willing to say for sure. So I'm actually going to say, and it's probably because I've been playing it lately, but I'm going to say Final Fantasy XIV's new expansion pack, Endwalker, might be a candidate at the end of the year.
We'll see. I feel like most games of the year is very rarely any kind of multiplayer game. Usually it's a single-player story-driven game.
I think Overwatch won, didn't it?
Overwatch it has one, yeah.
Yeah, it did. Okay, I'll shut up now. Go ahead, Emily. What about you?
Well, my list, I have like a list because I'm just so indecisive. The games that I have played that have released this year, Returnal. I was talking to Justin about this before, and that I didn't even get to finish it, like the full story of Returnal, because it's a permadeath. Because I was borrowing a friend's PS5, but I absolutely loved it. A lot of roguelikes have to really have something special about them, and Returnal did with its story. If you got far enough in, you kept seeing your dead bodies over and over again, and getting voice clips. Yeah, and getting voice clips from your old dead bodies, and that's why that roguelike really gripped me, and I just could not put it down. And it was fantastic. Just the story, there was really no issues with the game when it released, that I saw either. So it had a really smooth release, other than it being a PS5 exclusive. If that would have been on PC, that would have been in my library day one. If it had been a PC release, I'm fingers crossed that it may still. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn was a PC release later on down the road, so maybe. Tribes of Midgard, I've already am in love with that game. And then Biomutant. Biomutant was one of those games that I really enjoyed. It was a very different game that I had never played anything like that before, with that bullet time hack and slash shooter mixture. Obviously I love MMOs and I love open world games, and it just took all of that and just did so well. The only downfall that would pretty much take that out of Game of the Year contender would be the fact that the narrator in Biomutant was the most annoying thing of all time. When the game first released, literally you would pick up a stick and he would be like, that looks like a super fancy stick you just picked up. I'm not even kidding. He would literally narrate every single step you would take. But then a couple days later, they released a patch that actually allowed you to turn him all the way down to the point to where the only thing that he would narrate would be the gibberish that the animals spoke. it made it, and if that would have been there from day one, like it would have been perfect. But yeah, but those are my picks of stuff that's out. Stuff that's not out, like Justin was saying, Far Cry 6, Dying Light 2, Back for Blood. Nobody's been talking about. Yeah, as you're saying, nobody's been talking about Back for Blood, and it's the same people who made Left 4 Dead.
I think the beta's going on right now, isn't it?
It
I
is,
believe
yeah.
so. Yes.
Yeah, I was in an alpha, and it was.
Yeah.
I can't say, but
right.
I'm
yes.
just gonna put my thumbs up for a second.
Yeah. Like I have some friends that was also an alpha, and they really enjoyed it. I'm very excited to get my hands on that because I did love Left 4 Dead on 360. It was one of my favorite zombie games. And New World. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could really be contenders. Especially a new MMO like New World could really do well. Yeah, I have too many like in my brain to just say one specific one because they're all great and they could all blow us away. So, but yeah, what about you, Travis?
Yeah, so for me, the games that I haven't played that I think are contenders is Disco Elysium, the Final Cut. I think that's got a lot of attention. It's a lot of really good reviews. I've not played it, but also, I want to take a second. So anybody that's watching or listening, feel free to write in any games that you think could win Game of the Year as well.
Yeah.
So games
wait,
that I
did
have
you say
played,
you haven't played Disco Elysium?
No.
We have it on PS5. You should try it.
Oh,
it's
okay. Well,
really
I should
good.
check it out. I have played Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I agree with Justin. I think that could be a contender because that game is really good. It's super polished, super smooth. A game that I played that I didn't expect to like as much as I did, and I actually finished it, was Resident Evil Village. That one was actually really good as well. And then another one is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I know that was pretty well received. It wasn't as long as probably most people would have wanted because it was. I think a lot of people were surprised it was going to be broken up into chapters. But the gameplay, graphics, everything, and they also just released the updated version for PS5 as well. I think that could also be a contender as well. So yeah. I'm really excited for Dying Light 2, though. I really enjoyed the first Dying Light, and they poured a ton of content into that game. Like even though it was out for for 4 years, they still were doing stuff for that game. It kind of reminded me of what Gearbox does with Borderlands because they just keep supporting that game. So, and I love the element of parkour mixed with zombies. It kind of reminds me of like Mirror's Edge meets like a zombie game. It's pretty dope.
And the zombies in that game are just so creepy, and they are not like when it goes night, you just don't go out at night.
No.
You just say, you're like, oh, it's getting dark, better get back to the base. Like, and you just wait. Like, that was me. Because they would just scream at you, and they would literally run all the way up to your base in Dying Light 1. And, like, just stand there and scream at you. You're just, like, in a corner, like rocking back and forth, saying, please go away.
And I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited for the new one because I know it has more, like dynamic changes to the city and stuff, too, which we didn't really get anything like that in the first one. So I'm excited for that. All right, well, it's time to the end of the show where we always like to talk about the pick of the week. Ba-da-da. Oh, you put the da-da-da.
Is it ba-da-da or da-da-da?
No, it's da-da-da. I'm just in
Da-da-da.
Yeah. So I guess I'll go first for my pick of the week. I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't ready. No, so actually, my pick of the week is I actually did take time to play the New World beta. I can't really. Oh. Can you talk about? You can talk about betas, right? Yeah, you just.
Yeah, it's open.
About alpha. Betas, you can.
So I played the alpha, and I won't really say much about the alpha, but I'll just say that I wasn't in a hurry to play it after that. But then I went back and I played the beta here recently that's going on, and it felt like a totally different game, to be completely honest with you. The fact that this is an Amazon, I think this is Amazon Studio, right? Like this is an Amazon gaming company, right? Yeah. The fact this is one of the first games that they've worked on and as ambitious as this game is, it actually is really good, even for the beta. I have a lot of people that I'm working with that's already put like 30 to 60 hours in this game, and I refuse to do that just because I know that I'm going to have to turn around and do it again. So I played enough of it to know that, like, oh, okay, yeah, I can definitely get into this. But I think maybe Justin mentioned it last week. Maybe is what really impresses me about the game is the fact that it pulls different elements from different types of games. It kind of has like a WoW vibe, but also like a Dragon Age vibe, and with like the crafting, it has kind of like a Rust vibe. It's really cool, like all the elements that they worked into this game. It also reminds me of a really old MMO that was around when Justin and I was in GameStop days. Justin, you remember Guild Wars?
Yeah.
It kind of has Guild Wars vibes too, which is kind of funny to me. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this game. You said it comes out at the end of the month, Justin, right?
August 31st. And Emily told me that, so
Yeah,
chain of information is here.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my pick of the week. Emily, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yes, and Shadow and Twitch chat says he hopes New World turns out great. I do too. I really do. I want it to be a good game. I really want it to. I didn't play the beta. I probably should have just to see if I would like it, but I know I'm gonna like it. It's an MMO. I think it's gonna be great. But my pick of the week, if you probably didn't already guess, is Tribes of Midgard. Because I streamed it for like 15 hours one day and then 12 hours the next. So I mean, it was pretty awesome. I had a lot of fun, and it didn't even feel like I played it for that long. So it's very unique, but also grabs things from all these other, different types of games, survival games, roguelike games, and stuff like that, and just does it really, really well. The crafting is so much fun in that game. The weapons that you can craft up to have different abilities and powers and stuff like that. So that's really cool. And I'm excited to play more. And they need to work on a little bit of balancing. There's some balancing issues. Solo is very hard if you're by yourself and you don't know what you're doing. I played with him my second stream, Shadow, and we had a blast. It was so much fun. And I think that it's only going to get better from here. I think they're only going to just do quality of life changes, from here, and it's going to make it a really, really good contender for a possible game of the year, or even like honorable mention or something like that. So that is my pick of the week, and I'll be playing that sometime this week too.
Nice. So the homie Flip gave us his pick of the week. His picks were also New World, The Ascent, and Spillgate. And he just got back from Las Vegas and Arizona after his birthday. So happy birthday, Flip.
I saw those on
happy birthday.
Instagram, I think. Instagram or Twit or TikTok or something. I don't know.
Justin Zwerner, he wants to know if New World is more PvP or PvE. Well, the game is kind of interesting in that regard because as you go into a town or settlement, you can turn on PvP, so you don't have to pick a PvP server. Every server has PvP, but you're not necessarily forced into it, at least from what I've gathered in the beta. I'm sure there will be some quests that require you to have PvP turned on, but you can... I had no problem running around without PvP turned on. I do know that PvP, I believe, is skill-based rather than level-based. I think you level scale, so don't worry about getting smacked by some level 60s or 50s or whatever the level cap is.
Yeah. So what is your pick of the week, Justin?
I forgot. Mine's gonna be I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson on Netflix. It's so funny, so good. I'm not gonna name this sketch, but there's a certain sketch that Travis and I really adore from an old Comedy Central show, and we reference it a lot, and I get a lot of vibes from that. And I'll send you all a clip when the show's over. Don't want to say it on here. I would like to not be canceled.
Long story short.
No, I'm kidding. Long story short, yes. That's the one. But no, this show kind of reminds me of that, and it's just so good. So I will say not every sketch is a hit, but the ones that are hits are like fan-freaking-tastic. So that's where I stand with that.
Awesome.
All right.
Oh, well, that's a good show.
Good
Enjoy
show.
it,
Short
enjoy
show.
it. Yeah, but hey, it was short and sweet, but we covered a lot in a little time. I think we covered more stuff than we did last week. So
Yeah, and I think next week is going to be a jam-packed show. So
Oh, we got another
Fun
comment
stuff.
here.
oh,
yeah,
Flip says you can pick how you want to play New World PvE or PvP, not mandatory. Yes, thank you, Flip.
yeah.
Thank
I
you
like that.
for
I hate when PvP is forced in MMOs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'm glad that you can pick it. It's not mandatory.
Well,
so.
it's like on it's like Rust, for instance. Like you have to pick a PvP or a PvE server. but like I don't want to choose just one. I may want to go out and gather some wood, but I don't necessarily be clubbed over the head at that moment. But
Yeah.
I might want to kill someone in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So at least with New World, I get to choose.
Yeah, you got options.
Yeah.
Well, Emily, you want to close this out, or Justin, one of you two?
You do it.
I opened.
didn't. Oh, I didn't write notes for it, so I'll close out. So this is episode 114 of Nerds with Mics. Thank you for tuning in. Justin Zwerner says we rock and to keep up the great work. We appreciate
Thank
that.
you,
We
Justin.
appreciate you for tuning in.
You
For sure.
rock. You.
Yeah, we'll be back next Sunday at 8:30. If you didn't catch us live or can't catch us live, we'll be added to your favorite podcasting apps about an hour after the show ends. You can also catch recordings of the show on YouTube or Facebook Live, or I think Twitch even saves them. I'm not entirely sure.
You have to turn it on. Make sure you turn it on.
Probably didn't.
You should turn it on.
I'll work on that. My bad.
Guy says you should turn it on.
Huh?
Guy says you should turn it on. She looked at you as soon as So
Okay.
My dog. She said turn it on.
Oh, gotcha. And Flip says, bye, everyone. Love you all. We love you too, Flip. All right. Thank you for watching and listening and letting us embrace your ear holes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.